9, biomolecule. In the last session we have seen what are the different types of organic and inorganic compounds that you can find in a living organism. We have also discussed a method to determine the organic compounds in a living organism and the inorganic compounds that are present in a living organism. Now today we have to discuss few basic units that are present in a living organism. Okay, so the building block of this organic acid or organic molecules that we have to discuss today. Now already you know that which kind of organic molecules you can find in a living organism. So here these are the list of the compounds, list of the organic compounds that you can find in a living organism. First is proteins, second is carbohydrates, third one is lipids, okay, fourth one is nucleic acids, next is enzymes, next is hormones, next is vitamins. So these are the few examples of an organic compound that you can find in a living organism. We have to discuss in brief regarding them. Okay, so what are proteins, what are the structures, what are carbohydrates, what are the structures and the properties that we have to discuss. So students, we will learn regarding its chemistry and the physico-chemical property of it. Okay, so let's first start with amino acids. Okay, what is an amino acids and what they are made up of and how its structure is. Okay, so let's first start with amino acids. So what are amino acids? Amino acids, they are building block of proteins. Okay, they are building block of proteins. So in a protein, the monomer is amino acid. The monomer is amino acid. So what is an amino acid? Amino acid, it's a monomer. Okay, it's a monomer of protein. In other term you can say that. Okay, so in a protein the monomer is this amino acid. Okay, if you see this, the name amino and acid. So if you see the structure, here both the functional group are present. One is COOH, the other one is NH2. This is the second functional group you can find in it. Both the functional group, this is carboxylic acid COOH and this one is a NH2 amino group. They are attached to a same carbon. They are attached to a same carbon. Hence, this is called as amino acid. Amino acid because it contains both functional group, amino group and carboxylic acid. So that's why it is called as an amino acid. As both the functional group, that's amino and the carboxylic acid, that is attached to a alpha carbon, this can also be called as alpha amino acid. Okay, this one is alpha carbon. Okay, this one is alpha carbon. So as both the NH2 and COOH, they are attached to a alpha carbon, that is called as alpha amino acids. Okay, now let's see. You know that the carbon has a valency, 4 valency. Okay, so this on the one side that is NH2, on the other side COOH, 2 functional group have been attached. The third functional group that is attached to it is a H. Okay, and the fourth one is R. Because the carbon has a valency 4, it can combine with 4 functional group. So here it can combine with 4 functional group, 1, 2, 3 and 4. In all the amino acids, NH2 and the COOH are present. These two R keeps on changing and usually this R keeps on changing. Okay, but all these are attached to only one carbon, that you can say alpha carbon. Hence it can also be called as alpha amino acids. What it can be called as? Alpha amino acid. Clear? The R may going to be vary, and based on these variations in the R group, we have 20 different types of amino acid. Okay, because we have a variation in the structure of this R. the R keeps on changing and that generates 20 different types of amino acid. In short, we have how many different types of amino acids? We have 20 different types of amino acids are there. Like I will tell you the few examples. If R is equal to H, over here, so this amino acid can be called as, what it can be called as? It can be called as glycine, which is the simplest amino acid. Here the R is equal to H. If R is equal to methyl group, CH3 group, okay, what it is called as? This is called as another amino acid, what we are calling it as alanine. Okay, if R is equal to hydroxymethyl, OHCH2, hydroxymethyl, then this one is called as serine. This is the third amino acid. Clear? We have three different types of, these are the three examples of amino acids: glycine, alanine, serine. Okay, in a glycine the R is equal to H. In alanine the R is equal to CH3, methyl group. In serine the R is equal to CH2OH. It is a hydroxymethyl group. They are present. So these are the different types of amino acids. Okay, and if you have been asked which is the simplest amino acid, then this is the simplest amino acid. Like you can also draw a structure. Like suppose if I say you to draw a structure of alanine, you can also draw it. Like here just you have to change a R. So this is a structure of alanine: NH2, C, COOH, H, and you know that in alanine it's a methyl group. Similarly, for glycine, then you have to replace this CH3 with H, and if it is serine, then you have to replace this CH3 with CH2OH. Okay, so you can also make the structure of these different amino acids by knowing the functional group that is present in it. Clear? So these are the three examples of amino acid which I have shown, because here thus there is a change in a R group. Now apart from that, the R group which is attached to it, it has a different you can say a different properties. Based on the property, it may be acidic, basic, and the neutral. Okay, so we have a different types of amino acid, and I will tell you the name of these amino acids. First, which are the acidic amino acids? Acidic amino acids. Okay, so the examples of acidic amino acids are glutamic acid, and the second one is called as aspartic acid. Okay, this is a glutamic acid and the aspartic acid. Now the example of a basic amino acid where the R functional group is basic in nature. Okay, so the example of basic amino acid, these are the example: histidine, arginine, and lysine. These are the basic amino acids. Okay, and which are the neutral amino acid? Neutral. Okay, so here these are the neutral amino acids. The example is valine. Okay, so these are the example: acidic, basic, and the neutral. The example of acidic amino acids are glutamic acid, aspartic acid. Basic amino acid are histidine, arginine, lysine. See, dear students, here there is a spelling mistake. It's a histidine, N-E. Okay, histidine, arginine, lysine, and which is an example of neutral amino acid? It's a valine. Okay, so these are the examples: acidic, basic, and neutral. Apart from that, I can also tell you the examples of aromatic amino acid. Remember, these are the examples of aromatic amino acid. Aromatic amino acids. So which are the examples of aromatic amino acid? They are phenylalanine, second one is tyrosine, and the third one is tryptophan. Okay, these three are aromatic amino acid. Okay, so if you have been asked that which are the aromatic amino acids, so these are the aromatic amino acids: phenylalanine, tyrosine, and the tryptophan. Okay, so these are the few examples from 20 different types of amino acid we have, and this is a basic structure of amino acid. Okay, now apart from that, I also want to highlight few things, that at a different pH, this amino acid can exist either in positive ion form, means cationic form, or it may be in a negative ion form, that's anionic form, or at certain pH that can exist in both positive and negative anion. So at the pH at which it exists in both the ions, cation and anion, then it is called as Zwitter ion. What's called as Zwitter ion? And this is a Zwitter ion form of an amino acid. I just only change, instead of NH2 I say NH3 plus and COOH COO minus. This is called as Zwitter ion form. What it's called as Zwitter ion form. Okay, at certain pH it can exist on both, that possess both positive charge and negative charge, or cation and the anion. Okay, this form of amino acid is called as Zwitter ion. Okay, so this is regarding the introduction of amino acids. Many amino acids combine together and it forms a protein. But here I will also tell you few things or few name of proteins which are important for you. It is not given as per the official textbook, but you have to remember this name. Okay, so first thing, you have to remember the name of a protein, and this is for an entrance examination point of view. Name of a protein that is not soluble in any solvent. So this is a name of protein which is not soluble in any solvent. It's called as keratin. Keratin, that is present in hair, nail, feather, claw. So this is a protein, or horn. The protein that is present in hair, nail, claw, horn, feather, the protein that is present is a keratin, and this keratin protein is not soluble in any solvent. Again, the another example I am telling you that, say the protein which is abundantly found in an animal. So this is a name of a protein which is abundantly found in the animal. Collagen protein. Collagen protein is found in abundant quantity into an animals. And the last one is a Rubisco. Okay, so this is a protein that is found in abundant quantity in the plant. So what is the full form of Rubisco? It's a ribulose, biphosphate, carboxylase, oxygenase. This is an enzyme or the protein that is found in the abundant quantity into a plant. Okay, so I again repeat, keratin is a protein that is not soluble in any solvent. Collagen is a protein that is abundantly found in an animal, and the Rubisco is a protein that is abundantly found in a plant. The full form of Rubisco is ribulose, biphosphate, carboxylase, oxygenase. Okay, so this is what it has. Okay, so that is about the different types of a protein. Usually, students, the proteins are soluble in either dilute acid or dilute base or dilute alcohol. Okay, some are also even soluble in a water, but here this protein is not soluble in it. Instead of dilute acid, dilute base or dilute alcohol, when the proteins or amino acids, they are exposed to a strong acid, strong base and strong alcohol, there is a denaturation of its structure takes place. Means its structure gets denatured. Means the 3D structure of a protein, that gets altered. Okay, so that happens. So strong acid, remember student, strong acid, strong base and strong alcohol can denature the structure of a protein. Okay, whereas dilute acid or in dilute acid, dilute base or dilute alcohol, most of the proteins are soluble in either of this. But this is an exception. This is an exception protein, keratin, that is not soluble in any solvent. You might have seen advertisement of shampoos which contains the keratin. Why they add keratin? Because the keratin is present in a hair that makes the hair smooth. Okay, so that's why they are advertising that this is a keratin rich shampoo. Okay, because keratin is present in hair, feather, nail, horn, claw, etc. Okay, so that's all about the structure of a keratin. Okay, so students, today we have learned regarding the building block of protein, and that is amino acid. Similarly, there is also a building block of carbohydrates, and we are calling it as monosaccharides. Okay, you can say saccharides. They are the building block of carbohydrates. Okay, so that we will see in the next session. Till then, students, keep learning, keep watching, like and subscribe this channel. Okay, thank you for watching.